Welcome everyone to Discover This. Well, today's biker story involves violence and results in death, and it all takes place here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. So this is the story of an altercation between the Vagos Motorcycle Club and the Black Berets Motorcycle Club, who I believe support the Bandidos Motorcycle Club, but we'll get into that. So let's get started.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Now, New Mexico has been known as a Bandidos Motorcycle Club state for many years. Well, in 2011, some Vagos Motorcycle Club members moved in and set up shop, literally, right here at 2403 1st Street Northwest. A Vagos member by the name of Malachi Seaman came to Albuquerque and opened up this motorcycle shop, Seaman's Custom Cycle. He also started up a chapter of the Vagos here in Albuquerque. The motorcycle shop was believed to be the Vagos Motorcycle Club clubhouse. Malachi Seaman's brother, Japheth, was also a Vagos member in Albuquerque. Now, the Vagos probably did not get permission from the Bandidos to start a motorcycle club in New Mexico, a chapter of the Vagos. And the Bandidos have lots of friends in New Mexico. One of those is the Black Berets Motorcycle Club. They were very friendly with the Bandidos, if not an outright support club. On Sunday, August 4th, 2013, the Black Berets Motorcycle Club had organized a fundraiser for a 15-year-old girl with cancer. The event was being held at Epi's Motorcycle Shop at 2701 4th Street Northwest, literally just a few blocks from the supposed Vagos Motorcycle Club clubhouse at Seaman's Custom Cycle. Literally up 1 block and over 2 blocks. The event was open to the public. Lots of citizens and other motorcycle clubs showed up. Well, so did the Vagos. 3 Vagos members rode up to the event and walked in. According to witnesses, Malachi Seaman, who was more than likely the president of the Vagos Motorcycle Club in Albuquerque, walked up to a guy and started beating him in the face and head with a baton. People started scrambling and then shots were fired. Japheth Seaman and another Vago pulled out guns and started firing. Others in the crowd started shooting back. Multiple shots. Police ended up counting over 70 rounds at the end of the day. In the end, 1 man was wounded, and Japheth Seaman, Malachi's brother, and Sergeant-at-Arms for the Vagos Motorcycle Club in Albuquerque, was shot in the head and died.
Was killed, another injured at this motorcycle shop on 4th near Manal. They meant battle. Police found 70 spent shell casings.
Just Dick, police say tension between rival motorcycle clubs may have led up to the shooting. Now they're working to keep the threats made to retaliate from coming to fruition. This is the aftermath from the barrage of bullets exchanged at this motorcycle shop on 4th Street near Manal Sunday afternoon that left 1 man dead and another injured.
People rode up, and started shooting each other. We heard 1 shot, then we heard several shots.
Albuquerque police say they found 70 spent shell casings. Officers believe the shooting may have been a result of tension between rival biker clubs.
We weren't messing with nobody. We're not here to mess with nobody.
Chale, a member of the Black Berets, says 3 members of the Vagos, a relatively new motorcycle club to New Mexico, rode over to a fundraiser the Black Berets were helping out with and opened fire.
It went from a festive deal to taking cover deal.
One of the alleged Vagos members, Japheth Seaman, was killed during the shootout. His brother, also an alleged Vagos member, Malachi Seaman, was arrested for beating a man in the face with a baton.
You know what? Those sons of it ain't over with them. Or what they did, you know what? It's uncalled for.
It's the kind of violence undercover officers warned could be coming in a special assignment story News 13 aired last month after the Vagos set up shop in New Mexico.
They're one of the fastest growing clubs now. They just want to expand across the U.S. They want to be the big dog.
APD says they have gang detectives working the case, trying to gather information about when or if any sort of retaliation is planned so they can cut it off at the pass before someone else gets hurt.
These gangs have their their war against each other, but innocent bystanders can easily get in the crossfires.
APD says they do not know exactly what led up to the shooting, whether it was a turf war or some sort of disrespect. At this point, officers also do not know who fired the shot that killed Seaman. Just back to you.
Okay, Amanda, Seaman's brother Malachi is the owner of Seaman's Custom Cycles. Officers suspect that shop is the Vagos hangout in Albuquerque. It's also not far from where yesterday's shooting took place. According to a criminal complaint from March, Seaman was arrested for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon after he nearly drew his gun on an undercover detective who was driving by the business.
Malachi Seaman was arrested for aggravated battery with a deadly weapon. Bail was set at $100,000, cash only. This shooting stirred up lots of trouble, and it was reported that Bandidos MC members from other states and possibly Vagos members from other states were en route to New Mexico to help take care of business. Law enforcement was on high alert.
A motorcycle gang war may be about to erupt in Albuquerque. News 13 has obtained an FBI report warning area law enforcement that violence is escalating between two rival gangs. And the violence is on the brink of getting worse. News 13's Matt Grubbs is live in the Newsplex. Matt?
Jessica, the report was issued on Tuesday, and in it the FBI points to two recent events, including a fatal shootout on Sunday, as reasons for a possible gang war in Albuquerque involving motorcycle gang members from across the country. Sent out to a handful of local law enforcement agencies from Albuquerque to Santa Fe, the Situational Information Report alerts officers to what it terms an escalating conflict between the Bandidos Motorcycle Club, the Vagos Motorcycle Club, and other associated motorcycle support clubs in Albuquerque.
I mean, they're involved with murders, they're involved with extortion. They're pretty violent.
On special assignment last month, Kim Holland profiled what many feared would be the coming violence between the Vagos and Bandidos motorcycle clubs. Sunday's shootout between the Vagos and the Black Berets saw that fear begin to play out. More than 70 shots were fired and one man was killed. At a hearing for accused Vagos member Malachi Seaman, charged with aggravated battery in the case, a detective offered this assessment of the three Vagos alleged to have started the trouble.
They basically came there looking for a fight. When Mr. Seaman was processed, he was found to be wearing a bulletproof vest.
The FBI report keys in on that kind of information, noting Vagos and Bandidos club members have been reported to open carry firearms in tactical holsters, wear bulletproof vests, and have demonstrated an advanced level of firearms tactics and proficiency in a live fire situation. At Malachi Seaman's bond hearing, Judge Sharon Walton expressed the same kind of concern.
I am aware that there have been some kinds of threats that this is not the end of this situation. So I do think that this situation presents a very real risk to the community.
The FBI report warns in response to the Sunday shootout, Bandido members across the country were directed to travel to Albuquerque. The FBI says Vagos members may already be awaiting orders from national leadership. According to the report, Malachi Seaman's brother Japheth was the sergeant-at-arms for the Vagos gang. He was killed in the shootout. Back to you.
And in 2015, prosecutors dropped all charges against Malachi Seaman. But by that time, he had moved on. And he ended up west and moved out here to Bullhead City, Arizona, in the Fort Mojave, Bullhead City area. And he came up here to help recruit and sustain the Vagos Motorcycle Club along the Colorado River. All the way from Yuma, Arizona, all the way up here to the Fort Mojave, Bullhead City area, and even on up to the Kingman area. And with Malachi Seaman, the Vagos started hosting some events here in town, like this one here at the Iron Horse Saloon in Bullhead City in November of 2015. They also opened up a repair shop. I mean, if what you know is wrenching on bikes, then you go with what you know, right? But it's right here along Highway 95 in the Fort Mojave area, and just up the road actually from the Devil's Disciples Clubhouse, and they called it Two Guns. It was Two Guns Custom Cycles. And while not really an official Vagos clubhouse, they did hang out here. So you could probably come by here and find one or two or three or four. And you can see the sign they had hung inside. And they hosted more events at the Iron Horse Saloon, and Vagos from all over Arizona, Nevada, California, they would show up. And as more people showed up, Vagos and private citizens, so did law enforcement. And you can see how that went. But eventually something happened internally. And around April of 2018, Malachi Seaman was voted out bad by the leadership of the Vagos Motorcycle Club. And Seaman did something that is generally not done in the outlaw world. He took his cause to the internet and social media. Now, generally you don't air club business out in the open like that for all to see. Although I guess another example would be Little Dave, the former Mongols national president. He did basically the same thing recently. But Malachi Seaman's statements didn't change anything in the end. He was out bad. So that's going to do it, ladies and gentlemen, for this story about the Vagos showing up in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and then the leader of that chapter moving west to the Colorado River area of Arizona and continuing on with his recruiting and whatnot, and then what happened to him at the end. Now the Vagos are still in New Mexico, and they're still here in Arizona, and they still have their same enemies. So I'm sure there's more to come. But I appreciate you watching. I appreciate you taking the time. And we will see you on the next Discover This.